Today's Wednesday, April 20th, 2016, and you know what time it is.
You're tuned in to the Elevator Radio Show, a weekly program dedicated to covering news and information on elevators, escalators, and moving walkways. Produced in the wee hours of the morning, a new show is uploaded every Wednesday, sometimes even before you get out of bed. Listen to some of the comments sent in from our audience.
Rob from New York writes, Tom, are you f***ing insane? You actually get up at 2 a.m. each Wednesday to put this show out? Man, you must love elevators. Tim from Illinois writes, I'm not sure why I listened, but ever since I tuned into the first show back in 2007, I've been addicted. Matt in Texas writes, I like your safety messages, Tom. It's important to remember them each and every day. And he also adds,
when am I going to win the monthly prize pack giveaway?
Ron from California sent this in. Despite your inability to pronounce words in the English language, I tune in each week and am glad that you offer this service to the industry. It's better than Google News alerts. Sarah from Washington writes, love the show, Tom, and look forward to it each week. I'm glad I signed up for the newsletter. You provide a valuable resource for the industry, not only for North America, but worldwide.
Enjoy the show. And now, here's your sleep-deprived host, Tom Seibert.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. It is good to be here. Yes. Let's find this off button here. There we go. Got it off. It is great to be here this Wednesday morning where we are putting on another show number 426, which almost didn't happen. Having some issues with uploading our files to our web hosting provider. But by the time you probably listen to this, all of that will have been taken care of, so don't worry about it on your end. As always, thank you for joining us. This is show number 426, April 20th, 2016, and it's good to be here this morning. It's been a busy couple of days. I had 3 days in a row where basically pulled from 1 o'clock to like 5 o'clock work days. Not necessarily because I wanted to, but because I couldn't sleep. And if anybody out there has issues with their sleeping, you know exactly what it's like to wake up after, 3-4 hours of sleep and be like, I can't sleep anymore. So probably need medical attention or something for that. But yeah, those little ibuprofen blue pills that I've been taking just don't seem to be working the way that they should. But anyway, hey, all of you who are out there in the Houston area, man, my thoughts, and I'm just thinking about all of you out there and how much water you've received. The video footage has been unbelievable, and it is crazy to see that you once again are underwater. This way, this time due to huge amounts of rain. But in the past, much of it has been in relation to hurricanes. But Sheila, Daniel, John, all of you, and everybody else who listens to the program down in Houston that I haven't mentioned, man, just hang in there. Looks like you're going to have about 2 days of good weather before the chance of rain comes back into the picture on Sunday. So, man, just terrible. Some of the footage that I watched through the Weather Channel, I couldn't believe there was one guy. Okay, so the reporter was shooting a piece where there was a car that had driven into a submerged road, and the news reporter is literally yelling at this guy, to get out of the car. And as this guy is trying to get out of the car, as soon as he opens the door, the car starts to sink. And the reporter literally is like, get out of the car. And the guy like, what? He could not process what he needed to do next. And like any type of emergency situation, you got to be ready for pretty much anything. As much as you don't want to think of the worst possible case scenario happening, whatever it is, you really have to be safe. You got to think like, okay, what should I do next? This guy easily could have drowned had he not had somebody instructing him to get out of his car and swim away. I don't even know if he's lucky his seatbelt was undone because, the way that he was just responding so lethargically, I didn't think he was going to make it out. As soon as he exited the car filled with water, and basically he attempted to swim to safety. And the guy was just shell-shocked. He's like, and by that time the car was pretty much all underwater. So I don't. Just as a reminder, man. As the Boy Scout motto goes, I wasn't a Boy Scout, but man, always be prepared the best that you can, and mentally more than anything. Understand that if you are put in a situation of danger, that you know what you should do. So, yeah, terrifying. Never not think, or never don't think that something like that could happen to you, because it could very easily, and you could find yourself in a situation that you may need to deal with much quicker than you expected. So that's my 2 cents to all of you. There's no course or teaching on that, but just be prepared. Maybe there is. There might be one of those ultimate survival books, or what to do in every situation or every emergency possible. But just be prepared, because you never know when you're going to be tested by something like that. So anyway, but yeah, those in Houston, hopefully you dry out very quickly and soon. And as many of you know, after the hurricane oh man, I don't remember what year that was, but Sheila Sweat gave an excellent presentation at the Elevator U conference in, I don't know if it was Arizona or Quincy. Anyway, but on elevators in flooding and kind of what steps should be taken. And we've seen a lot of that. I've seen a lot of that personally in terms of steps being taken in the Houston area. Also in New York, after many of their elevators and pits were underwater. So hopefully everybody's okay from that, and we don't read about any articles or any deaths relating to people being trapped or stuck in elevators while floodwaters rose above certain levels. So, proper preventions when flooding occurs basically is to move everything up as high as you can go. And that's, anybody in a floodplain knows that, but ultimately it doesn't always get practiced. So anyway, all right, that's my 2 cents. So hang in there, and hopefully things will dry out warm enough here in the Midwest. We had some wonderful weather over the weekend finally, and was basically caught up in volleyball stuff, and was able to do a little bit of work over the weekend, which was nice. Spent time with family, recharged the batteries a little bit, and here we are for another show, which seems to happen all too quickly. So anyway, get over to our Facebook page. I think it just do keyword search Elevator Radio Show. I do post some of the articles throughout the show, throughout the week. I encourage you to comment, share, post, repost, whatever. And that's where you will find out, where you will know when a new show has been uploaded. So without further ado, let's get into the news content of this week's program.
Let this week's news stories give you a lift on what's happening in the vertical transportation arena. Each news segment is organically dug and fresh with news stories of the week. Got lift? If not, stay tuned.
All right, if you're watching the video on the YouTube channel, just so you know, the website is not something you're going to be seeing. You're basically going to just be seeing the news links, the blog posts, and this is just a Word document that I typically use and post over on the website, but I couldn't do that this morning. Okay, first news article, New York Post reporting elevator worker dies after being electrocuted in public housing building. Yeah, not good whatsoever, especially in light of some of the most recent reports from elevator maintenance and repair from the New York City Housing Authority. But tragically, our industry lost an industry professional. Elevator worker was electrocuted in Brooklyn Public Housing Building Friday, the same day after the City Housing Authority announced the head of elevator maintenance had been reassigned. Yeah, kind of scary. So be careful out there. Make sure safety is number one on your priority each and every day, okay? That's huge. And if you'd like to comment on that, go over to elevatorradioshow.com and feel free to comment in the show notes link or the link on the blog post, or go over to Facebook. Article talking about the New York City Housing Authority reassigning its elevator division chief is the next news article coming from dailynews.com. And yeah, unfortunately, I'm not going to play the video. I'm going to let everybody check that out on their own. Actually, let me see if I can do this without some massive ad blaring in everybody's ears, and I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. But if I talk loud, maybe it will work. Let's see here. No, it will not work. But again, obviously, based on the report, there's some issues that that need to be improved upon. There have been some, yikes, I was watching an ad on a kid's toy starting on a fire. Anyway, but New York City Housing Authority has fired the head of its elevator division after faulty lifts killed one tenant and badly injured another in a separate Bronx development. So let's see here.
According to a report from city investigators, NYCHA knew of the busted elevator in the Bronx that killed an 84-year-old resident named Olegario Pabon. The city's Department of Investigation discovered a fail-safe device called a brake monitor had been deliberately disabled on the elevator. If functional, the device might have saved Pabon's life. DOI also uncovered brake monitoring problems in other elevators system-wide. NYCHA did receive warning signs 3 days before.
All right, we already talked about that on a previous show. It's basically just regurgitating what those findings were in an audio-type format. I thought it was going to be a little more investigative than that, but yeah, very in-depth that article. And obviously, our thoughts, our prayers go out to the family of the New York City Housing Authority mechanic who died while working out in the field. And again, just make sure you're safe out there. Be careful, and make sure that you go home each and every day. We just hired a new employee, and that was one of my talks, one of my safety talks, going through safety and ensuring that he understood completely that going to making sure that his most important job of the day was making sure he was safe and those around him that were safe as well with the equipment that he worked around. Okay, the Condé Nast. I know that's not right. Anyway, Traveler website, or cntraveler.com. I don't know why this is even an issue. It's but apparently title is Londoners freak out over new tube escalator etiquette. Give me a break. Slow news day, perhaps. Yeah, standing on an escalator is the proper way to ride it. So I'm not sure why Londoners are necessarily confused on that. So or freaking out. It's like just there's no. It might be an unwritten rule, but or law in terms of like gravity. I don't know, but you just hold on to the escalator, enjoy the ride, and at the end of the day or end of the ride, make sure you pick up your feet and be careful exiting the escalator. ShanghaiDaily.com has a news article titled "New Regulations Aim to Lift Elevator Safety," and an elevator accident that killed a cleaner in a Hangzhou shopping mall last week has revived public concern about what has come to be called lifts eating people. Yikes. That's not exactly the type of PR or piece or description of any kind of elevator you want to be sharing. And yeah, if I was some government entity, I might do something to stop that. And I wonder if the translation was exactly what that was. You think it was exactly lifts eating people? I don't know. Anyway, lifts do not eat people. Escalators do not eat people. Okay, they only do if there are situations or where either codes have not. Let me back up. Equipment hasn't been maintained. Obviously, if it's not functioning correctly, or if there's something that has been bypassed, or some user has not ensured that they are taking the proper safety precautions. So, Burnaby Now has a news article covering the important news bulletin regarding the escalator at the bus loop outside Metropolis and Metrotown is still out of commission, but property manager says the mall is working diligently to get operating as soon as possible. And the title, or the two little words in front of this are accessibility issues. You know what? There's stairs. Actually, I should stop right there. There are actually there aren't stairs to the side, but apparently Charles Fleck tells the Now, which is the news organization reporting the story, that he understands that it's taking longer than normal to fix the broken escalator, which has been out of service for more than 6 months. Yikes. He says staff is working diligently with a third-party contractor, and that the BC Safety Authority, British Columbia Safety Authority, the body responsible for giving the final green light for an escalator or elevator to come back online. So anyway, hopefully that'll be resolved soon, and most of the time there are stairs or there is an elevator that will, those that require increased accessibility to use. Title of this one just kills me. For Channel 4 NBC Washington reports, and this is the title. Let me get this on her. Skip this ad. I do not want ads. This is the title. Woman's arm gets trapped in metro elevator. I'm sorry. Let me correct that. Let me read this, because at first you read this title and you're thinking to yourself, "Oh man, this is terrible." Well, disabled woman had to be rescued Monday morning after her arm became trapped in an elevator door at the Judiciary Square Metro Station. Firefighters were called to the Metro Station about 10:45 a.m. for a high-angle rescue. Fire officials say the victim tried to open the door after the elevator stopped between floors, but the door closed on her arm. Okay, person with a disability, stay in the elevator. I swear to you, I don't. If we had a sign in it, would that prevent you from doing that? I mean, are we going to get to the day when, we have vinyl overlay graphics on the inside of doors that properly tell you how to ride an elevator? Just stay in the elevator. That's the safest place for you. So the title of this article really shouldn't be "Woman's Arm Gets Trapped in Metro Elevator." It should be "Disabled Woman Attempts to Get Out of Stalled Elevator and Gets Stuck by Door." I guarantee there's going to be a lawsuit on this. Guarantee it. Because of a technical glitch, DC firefighters must still file out paperwork by hand. Ooh, that's not so good. Anyway, so they, I guess they'll have more information to share on that down the road. But yeah, man, if an elevator stops working, there's a reason. Don't try to get out of it. Don't try to get out of it. Press the emergency, phone button or the alarm button and wait for help to come. DailyMail.com reported that a 70-year-old woman was badly injured when she was knocked over by a commuter who slid down a busy tube escalator in between it. Check out the photos. Even though the photos are somewhat fuzzy and blurry, it looks as if the woman who had slid down the escalator is in handcuffs. Well done. Finally. Not that we need to lock these people up, but man, let's put some frickin' fear into them so that they don't do stupid stuff like this. 9 times out of 10, they don't hurt anybody other than themselves. But when it happens to, when some stupid prank or some stupid action like this does result in hurting somebody, by all means, handcuffs are appropriate, and just to get just to try to prevent these kind of stupid things from happening. Okay, the Chicago Elevator Association Scholarship fundraiser registration is online. I'm going to talk about this until it's over, because it's a great opportunity to give back to our industry that has done so much for us. It's going to be held May 19th. It's going to be at the, where is it? Oh, Hawthorne Racetrack. So it should be a good time. Encourage everybody to who can to sponsor, to attend, and enjoy a night before heading into the summer session for the Chicago Elevator Association. Commissioner of Labor on inspection certificates. This is genius. Sherry Berry, which you can't beat the name. This is an article that was written by the Washington Post about North Carolina Commissioner of Labor. Not Labor. Is that Commissioner of Labor? Yeah, Commissioner Berry is the Commissioner of North Carolina's Department of Labor, which oversees the Elevator and Amusement Device Bureau. The Bureau conducts semi-annual inspections of state elevators, escalators, and so forth. Berry was first elected Labor Commissioner in 2000. She won re-election in 2004, and in 2005, she put in place a rule that every elevator in the state must include placards, adorned with her, or rather the Labor Commissioner's picture. I think that's a great idea. It's a great re-election type of idea as well. So you can't beat that. Looks like she actually hand signs these as well. I think it's a great idea. Why not see the people who are in charge of making sure the elevators inspectors are safe where we ride them? I think it's genius. What I thought was even better was that with her latest fame, her re-election campaign, one of the advertisements actually had her picture doing the narration in the certificate of operation. So, I mean, I think that's pretty cool. That's pretty ingenious. So, if you're running for any kind of commissioner position, or if you're an inspector or someplace where you might want to be visually seen, let's make sure it's a good idea. It's not a bad idea if there's space to do so. So anyway. Okay, news information regarding the electrician that was killed on the Carnival Safety Cruise.
It's the BrandsMart USA huge
I love that. Oh man, a 5,000 BTU air conditioner for $94.88. Wow. Anyway, apparently, Sun Sentinel has an article talking about crushed cruise worker had disabled elevator safety. Apparently, the report does show that there was a jumper placed on the elevator or on the lift. No work ticket necessarily to fix the elevator. It wasn't necessarily broken, which led investigators to believe that the electrician was working on the elevator. I just wonder how much experience that they had working on equipment like that. Just, that's kind of scary. But photos are very graphic, and sounds like an awful way to die. So, yeah. Okay, next news article coming from the courthousenews.com website. I don't normally link lawsuit type articles. I thought this was pretty relevant, though. There are a few sentences in here that I think are very important that I encourage you to read. They kind of hit home. And again, I wasn't going to link it because, again, I'm not a big lawsuit fan, not a big fan of attorneys. Sorry, attorneys who might be listening. And this is in regards to damages in Superdome elevator crash, which had been upheld. And anyway, this is basically an accident or a lawsuit where football fans allegedly stated that an elevator fell 5 stories. Now, when you read this, it states that it fell 5 stories in an overcrowded elevator. They were properly awarded damages, a Louisiana appeals court ruled. And if you scroll down, what we're talking about here is I believe that and this is a crazy thing. Apparently this happened in 2005. The amounts that were awarded were reduced from $113,160 to $80,460, which, it's a lot. And I guarantee the attorney probably took like $70,000 of it because that's just how it works. But if we read the article, because it talks about overcrowding an elevator in a few of the areas of the article. What was also concerning, okay, here we go. They had 30 attendees basically got stuck in an elevator. Basically, they should have known better. Risks should have been foreseeable. The only issue that kind of was the loophole here was that 3 passengers testified that they did not see a sign on the elevator regarding a weight limit or a passenger limit. You wonder if how much a difference that would have made. What do you think? How much of a difference do you think that would have made if it said, 2,500-pound capacity? If you're like me and don't believe that most people have enough common sense to try to do the math after the fact they've got into an elevator where some 300-pound guy has gotten on, and then you got another guy that looks like he's 6'2", but he's, I don't know, weighs 180. Who does that kind of math, right? I think we're at the point where we can't rely on common sense to prevail in many instances. I think we're at that point. And maybe we've been there for a while. I don't know. I mean, again, does it come down to having to show people how to load an elevator and where people should stand, and there should only be 6 people at designated spots, and put feet, put some feet marks on the ground where people should be standing? Or maybe we should put chairs and seats and roll bars and treat it like an amusement ride where people sit down and go to their floor and then get out. Are we at that point yet? Seems ridiculous, but we might be there. If there were 30 people on an elevator, that seems like a lot to me. I don't know how big the elevator was, but man, if I saw an elevator that was overcrowded, I wouldn't get on it. Even if I was in the industry, I'd be like, I'm not getting in that thing. Seems a little tight. Like claustrophobic. Crazy. This is a good article to shed some light on dealing with overloaded elevators. If it's going to take a sign, put a sign in. If you got to do the capacity and then put another sign, it's not required by code, that would state, okay, based on 2,500 pounds, that's approximately so many people at a certain weight limit. Maybe we need to kind of figure that out even to that point too. I mean, I don't know. But good article. Encourage you to print it out, save it, and share it. If you have any customer who's a building owner or elevator owner, you might find that at the end of the day, they might appreciate knowing, hey, this is a way of at least minimizing damages in a lawsuit. Although at that point, the insurance company is the one paying the bill, and frick, who knows what the hell all that goes. You know, I mean, it's like at the end of the day, I've had many conversations with insurance companies and insurance lawyers who truly are not trying to either, how do I put this? Are not trying or not intending to try to fight the litigation. Simply prove that their client is not responsible and minimize the awarded damages, whether it is a awarded damage, but going to court is not typically something an insurance company wants to do. And that's the way our legal system works. Anyway, good article. Encourage you to print it out, link it, share it, and pay special attention to overcrowding, and then also to no placards or signs or capacity that would indicate 30 people in an elevator might be too many. Okay? All right. Okay, students take unexpected alleged fall in campus elevator. I'm not going to say that this is something I actually heard, because that's actually what they should do, but apparently KentuckyKernel.com. Sound like KFC? University of Kentucky. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, anyway, apparently Emily Crace just wanted to eat pizza with her boyfriend, Reed Johnson, on Saturday night. When they left Crace's room on the 8th floor of the Champions Court 1, they took the elevator down to the lobby on the 2nd floor. They did not expect to fall 2 floors. It went from floor 8 to 7, fine. Then right around when the number said 7, we started rumbling, and it stopped at the 5th floor. So perception of falling is something that is definitely interpreted by whoever it was, who's in the elevator. I'm just surprised the article doesn't say allegedly, or, it seems like that should be the first thing stated. And the words of plummeting and all that crap is just, without having any kind of, documentation or confirmation from a contractor, somebody who could look at it. Yeah, so it's one of those deals where the account may not have been as bad or as what it was. So anyway, okay, the WindsorStar.com has a lawyer saying that the broken elevator blocking courthouse access is a problem. It sure is. Yes, it is. And whenever you are in a situation where you are, your accessibility has been limited, either by a broken leg or whatever, you see the world in an entirely different manner. What kills me about this article is you've got an attorney stating that they're demanding the courthouse put pressure on to get the equipment fixed quicker, blah, blah, blah. Look deeper into the issue. How about that? How about if it was as easy as just saying, hey, put more pressure. Here, I'm going to play this. It drives me freaking nuts.
But I'm not here today for my own sake. We as lawyers have to champion the rights for the public. And I was in court last Friday and the elevator was broken. All of the motions are being held on the second floor of the courtroom, and it was very difficult by crutches for myself to get up, but I'm just thinking about all the other public that would be inaccessible for court. Today another lawyer complained about the elevator being down. I know it's a situation where they're waiting on parts, but it has to be given a priority. Again, our public needs to have access to the courthouse. Well, I didn't complain last week. They actually apologized that I had to come to court and that the elevator was down. And in my own mind, I basically said if it's going to be down still a week later, that the Windsor Star needs to know about this, the public needs to know about it, and pressure has to be put on the courthouse to get it fixed.
Pressure? Who says pressure's not being put on the courthouse to get it fixed? Come on. And secondly, how do you have one elevator in a courthouse building? Who designed that? The building looks like it's like somewhat newer, right? There's no other provisions. They should move courtrooms down to the first floor if possible, or put them in a different location. I agree with that. But ultimately, if it were as easy as saying, oh, we have to put pressure on it to get it fixed, that's a bunch of BS. I wish it were that easy, I'm telling you. From a company that makes equipment from 1910, holy crap. Some of the stuff we have to refabricate is incredible. And at the end of the day, it's going to take some time to make that part. It might take a week, might take two, might need a casting. So ultimately, what's the alternative? Replacing the elevator completely, putting another one in. There's all sorts of issues that you just don't really think about. But man, put pressure on the courthouse needs to put pressure on to make that work. I guarantee they're doing everything they can to make that happen. Okay, next article, liftsymposium.org has released their abstracts for 2016. Some interesting topics that you might be interested in checking out. Very, very deep, in fact. So check that out. Link is in the show notes. Yeah, crazy. I mean, the titles of these are way over my head, but didn't think you could think that much about elevators in this kind of application, but you can. And you can read more about that. Link is in the show notes. And last news article, which I did cover on last week's program, is the Elevator U conference schedule is set. If you want to check out the PDF, please go ahead and do so. If you are interested in attending or exhibiting, there are not that many exhibit booths left. So there might actually all be gone. So get over and register today if you're unable to do so. Please consider registering just to come, have a good time. It should be a great time. And check out the agenda. Link is in the show notes. And that's going to do it. So, all right, everybody. Well, next week will be our prize pack giveaway. We'll be giving away a $100 gift card along with some other cool goodies donated by some awesome companies. So make sure that you tune in for that and listen to the end of the program to find out if you are the winner. As always, thank you for tuning in today. Be safe out there and spread the word on safety. So take care and stay dry. If you are in Houston, hang in there, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.